line. JD Gaming back on blue side, and look at that. They have diagnosed the problem and found a solution, getting rid of Ray's Poppy and now looking to reclaim that powerful Tahm Kench.
Likewise, I agree with Edward Gaming's bans, the fact that they take away Varus, Aatrox, as well as the Ryze in particular. The last time JD Gaming were on blue side, it was priority pick of the Ryze. This time around, it's TK who falls to the ban phase, and it's TK who gets picked up first. But we're fast and furious, and it has been the story of this entire series. Second rotation, Gragas Kai'Sa. Now
this is another good answer from JD Gaming. They played it earlier. The Tristana, great answer. It's got good wave clear, which means the lane control is fine, and Yagao gets the LeBlanc blind against Scout, swaps over to Ignite as that summoner spell. He said, hey, if it works for him, it can work for me. Nothing is going to keep me out of this lane.
And everything is getting changed up. Quickly touching back to the Tristana. You're correct, Dom. It is a signature pick for Loken. It's one of his big comfort picks champions. He's played it multiple times. But the key thing for me is that it's TK alongside the likes of the Tristana. There is so much safety in this lane. And as Mako locks in another hard engaged support in the Rakan, it's exactly what JD Gaming need. It worked so well in game number 1 and game number 2. Don't try to contest them. Let it go. Let Edward Gaming be aggressive in the bot lane, but have the answers rocket jump, devour to get out of trouble.
And this could be the answer for JD Gaming. We still need to look towards their strengths for both Zoom and Clid as they're looking for their next 2 champions, but Edward Gaming already working that pool down. Aatrox banned away, Gangplank banned away. It seems like this time it's going to go from 4 bans down to 3 towards Zoom, but still, that is so many. And how appropriate as that sign you just saw, Mako playing with the all-Chinese team in the Asian Games esports demonstration events and taking the gold medal over Korea. That when Clear Love is pulled away, that Mako is the one who steps up and leads his team to victory. Perhaps EDG could be embracing the future here with Haro in their jungle instead of Clear Love.
They're definitely leaning into Mako right now, but it's also his partner in crime in that Kai'Sa pick for iBoy. He's gone to it again and again. It's always going to be a priority. And between the likes of Rakan and Gragas, there is so much access into the backline to follow up on those big knockups with his ultimate.
That killer instinct provides so many opportunities for iBoy to outplay. Everyone should know him by now. One of the best AD carries in the LPL, which makes him one of the best AD carries in the world. As we got to see him on the world stage, try to take a solo kill against Faker and fall, but here in the LPL, his rise has only gotten better and better as he has risen up towards the top.
So this is now back-to-back that we're seeing the Malzahar picked into the LeBlanc. It is one of the, I'm not going to call it a hard counter, I'm going to say a soft answer as he...
Wait.
Change up.
We're changing sides here. Haro, with the Lee Sin, looks to take it back against Clid. And both sides saying, no, this is how it's done. No, no, this is how it's done. No, 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 please, this is how it's done. Allow me.
Well, I don't understand why we're throwing games away over Lee Sin picks, however, because who is he going to target? He's against a TK. He tries to go into that back line, they're just going to gobble him up. He tries to go for the LeBlanc, she's just going to dash away. Tries to go for Zach. You don't want that.
Now let's see what Zoom takes, as he knows that there is so much hard engage. The Rakan, the Lee Sin. Excellent ways for EDG to find picks and start these fights off. Uh-oh, could it be the blind carry as Ray still looking for his counter pick top? It is.
If you're a JD Gaming fan, this is exactly what you want. You want a defensive bot lane to try to absorb a lot of the kill pressure that EDG have been outputting with their bot lane. You want Yagao on a heavy roam style champion that can play side lanes and has a lot of mobility. And you want Zoom on a big carry so he can just become explosive. And you got all 3.
And now Galio locked in for Scout in the mid lane. Such a strong champion, the anti-mage. And Yagao taking the AP assassin LeBlanc. You can see the fans still cheering on EDG. They are not out of this series yet, getting up from that 0-2 start. But now they're starting to take some momentum back with very aggressive champions, but JD are set to match them.
I cannot get over the ego of Haro right now. He just saw Clid fundamentally collapse on the Lee Sin pick, grabbed it for himself, and so levels 1 through 5. The key thing about Zach is that he can't gank a lane before level 5. So there's this big window where Haro can make a huge impact, and I look towards Scout on the Galio. Is this going to be a very cheeky early gank on the mid lane to try to get it going? Or is this Lee Sin going to get shut out in the late game and not have a viable target in the late game and leave Edward Gaming playing 4v5 in the set point for playoffs?
And this is what we were going to have to ask coming into this series, is about the mental states of these players, the emotional states of these players. JD Gaming, they're still riding all of that youthful momentum, the young energy of this new squad coming together. But eventually that fire will fade. Edward Gaming, they have been forged by experience. They have been forged by time. They have been to Game 5s more times than JD can count.
Exactly. JD Gaming have never been in a situation where they go into a best of 5. They have barely entered playoffs ever before. I think only playing 2 best of 5s in their career so far. So number 3 against EDG, no problem. But push come to shove, they're used to the best of 3s. Now they have to make it count in Game 4.
Do they have the experience and do they have the discipline to close this series out? Game 1 was a slow and patient game from them. Game 2 got fast and reckless, and Game 3 was even looser.
For me, throw out the word discipline. I already know that JD Gaming are a disciplined team. I know that they have the fundamentals. My question now that I need answered, do you have the talent? I know that Zoom and Yagao are superstars in the making, but I'm looking at Loken and Lu Mao. You two need to step it up. You are against iBoy and Mako, and you cracked in Game 3. It cannot happen in Game 4.
They've got to show us the fire. They've got to show us the energy to close this series out. All they need is one Nexus, but a drop here brings it back to Game 5 at the verge of a reverse sweep. But now it's time for us to load onto the Rift in what could be the equalizing game between EDG and JD Gaming. And perhaps the manager of JD, his calls flagging just a touch, as it is Game 4 in this best of 5.
2-1. Meanwhile, over in the LCK, it's 1-1 with Griffin, at least last time I looked, having an advantage. So there is an opportunity today that both of the new generations of League of Legends talent strike back, take down old man KT, take down old man Edward Gaming.
Looking for that new generation from both leagues, the LPL and the LCK, embracing the future as Ray takes the very safe route into lane after giving a leash over to Haro. That is Dark Harvest on Haro for some very effective ganks later on, but going to take it safe for now as Loken is already forced to step back from some of this harass, but he's still controlling the wave against iBoy and Mako.
A reminder, Zach is a jungler. Level 5 is the big window that you're looking for the ganks. Otherwise, he's going to be pretty systematic through his jungle. So there's a window for Haro to actually make it count. That said, Lee Sins usually try to hunker down, race to level 6, and then try to use that extreme burst damage off of having access to the ultimate, as well as, like you were talking about, with the Dark Harvest. Although he's going for it now.
Looking for a cheeky level 2 gank with 2 buffs. Loken steps forward, lands the explosive shot as he tries to clear out the minion. The target is Lu Mao. He flashes away under the turret, and Loken gets some good damage onto Mako.
Huge credit to Loken and Lu Mao. You could tell by their positioning that they knew that something was up, that was a possibility, and they made sure that they didn't stand together. I liked Edward Gaming's selection. It was the right call to go for the Tahm Kench. Otherwise, you're just competing with the Devour, and so you can attempt to force the flash. Now, Haro. Clid, level 2. He's probably going to get level 3 after this camp. You got 2 levels. Where's your window? Do you go back bottom, or are you going mid?
It's a LeBlanc with flash, but no Mimic just yet. As the wave is pushed in, he's actually going all the way up to Wolf Camp at only level 2. Yagao is absolutely fearless against Scout as he pushes this minion wave in. And even Zoom is pushing up top, so it is a Haro-dictated game. Controlling the lanes for JD is second nature by these champions alone.
But what it does is it gives information that Haro was bottom, and so it allows Zoom to be so confident and so aggressive on the top side of the map. And that's the nice thing about this JD composition is, again, it's one of those more well-rounded comps that have so much versatility, so many different power windows about when they can play the win conditions in the game. And one of them is going to be this big Jace, who left isolated up here is going to be a massive problem come mid-game.
Already we've seen Zoom get a Flame Horizon against Ray on the Aatrox versus Poppy matchup earlier, but he's trying to get that same exact thing now as Ray is struggling to breathe under this constant pressure, these waves crashing in again and again. Haro has been hard farming in the meanwhile. Cleared his Wolf Camp, now going for a full clear throughout his topside jungle, leaving that Gromp open. So the lanes will bounce back just a touch, but Haro, we're looking at where he decides to go next after this recall, after Krugs, or if he decides to go top. His teleport was just used by Zoom.
The unfortunate thing is that it looks like the wave is probably going to push into him. No.
It's pretty
He's
close.
got it to go back.
Yeah. Haro finishing off the Krub camp, still thinking about it.
Zoom knows.
Level 4.
Haro has to be topside. They know that he cleared out his jungle bottom, which is why you see Tom, Kench, and Zach making moves, and Zoom being so respectful. But he wants the cannon.
He gets it, knocks Ray back over the wall. Sonic Wave misses, and he immediately turns onto Ray. Knows he's got flash and still is able to make that a favorable trade. Uh-oh, down to 200, maybe got 300 health. As Glid looks for a gank bottom, manages to pull Mako back in, but the Battle Dance has 2 charges.
And Zoom recognizing that the only cooldown in the window that he's playing around is the Sonic Wave. And as soon as that cooldown didn't connect with him, just got real feisty, turning it back around and really saying, no, Ray, take a step down. I am the superior top laner in this matchup.
And Ray just got back into lane, and he's already low. Now Clid looking for another gank, tries to pull iBoy in with that elastic punch, but cannot quite get the range.
A little bit of an early gank for Zach. Not
2 of them, actually.
Working out for him.
To the Loken lane, the lane that ended up losing Game 3, which led to EDG's victory, and still invading into the jungle to further deny it. So JD, they've accurately assessed their weaknesses in Game 3 and are very clearly adapting in this Game 4.
Yeah, and recognizing so they can get the vision on Haro because they know that Loken and Lumao are pushed forward right now. And I believe he also took the Blast Cone on his way out, so
yes.
Perfect. Creating security blanket for Loken and Lumao to actually be in this position since that's where Zach's ganks put the wave.
That's the rocket jump. Lumao has no flash, but just walks away as Mako and iBoy feign aggression to keep the wave busy. And that is looking to be a recall timing, though Loken is still staying. He's got himself the Cull and a dagger off of his own first recall.
Walks out of that one.
Minion wave is actually being really awkwardly pulled for Edward Gaming, so this does mean JD get the chance to push it all the way back in. I don't know what happened to that cannon over there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I think Mako pulled it when he was looking for a vision in the river.
He got real far away from home, though.
Uh-oh, that was Smite used by Clit to secure the Scuttle Crab as he is just trying to keep Ray busy. So still, it is a CS advantage for Zoom in the top lane. He's playing defensive, knowing that he has no flash right now after playing around Haro's gank earlier, but still trying to control the lane against this Gragas.
And also not recognizing where Haro was, but as he clears out the control ward, now Zoom can be a bit more aggressive in his posturing. And there's also an opportunity where Clid could actually make his way back top and try to force a gank, although looks like he's actually just going to try to quickly maneuver through his jungle, go towards red. So both junglers just kind of taking a step back so far.
Getting pretty close to level 6. Now, in the meanwhile, Yagao and Scout have both been doing a great job of keeping even in that matchup. I mean, you saw it with our graphic at the beginning of the day that we were expecting this matchup to go even between the two. Well, I think this is the biggest differentiator, is that when on the LeBlanc, Scout was able to roam around in Game 3. Now Yagao on the LeBlanc finds himself against Scout's Galio, who keeps him busy.
Also a lot of respect that if Yagao does roam around that with the, what is it, Justice Punch?
Hero's Entrance.
That one. The Hero's Entrance. That Yagao, I'm glad that you knew too.
Yes.
Would be able to follow him.
Haro thinking about heading back top towards Zoom. As Zoom, how does he have a sense for these things? Haro walks up, once again over the wall. That's the Dragon's Rage first, the cask. Looking for the execution, but he gets under the turret in time.
What was that, Ray?
Even Yagao roaming up just in case things were going to get a little bit more spicy. Scout was on the way with that Hero's Entrance, as you mentioned, but still Haro with his second gank up top can't make anything happen, and Zoom is only 18 CS ahead.
Unfortunate on the cask timing.
And
like
still the fans are voting for EDG.
EDG's got a lot of fans, but I would pull back a little bit on some of those. That was disappointing to see in the top lane and crucially needed because, again, Haro is expending so much of his time and his resources to try to neutralize that lane, and it's not impacting. That's a 20 CS difference between the Jace and the Gragas, and just completely throw that out. Like, I hate that we always have to go to CS differences. All you need to know is that if no one slows down Jace, Jace is going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
And Edward Gaming don't really have an answer to how big of a problem he's going to be.
Now the wave is being pushed up at Ray, placed a defensive ward, and will spot out Klid as he's dropping a large number of Mia pings right now, so this is going to be fairly ineffectual, but does buy time for Zoom to get pressure against the turret.
I mean, there's dive potential. The wave's not really there for them, so it would have to wait until this second wave, as long as Yagao can keep tabs on Scout. In fact, he knows Scout's going for blue. With Zac passive and knowing that Galio is across map without teleport, you can 100% dive top.
And look at that, even Yagao is going for the on my way pings. He's relatively low mana, but still making his way, and Ray is forced to turn and run. The moment he sees Yagao out of there, he's like, I don't want anything to do with this.
And Scout really left Ray out to dry. I mean, the fact is he wants to walk over, he wants to get his blue buff, but if he's not, you know, cheating top lane or trying to protect the top lane, then Ray has to disengage from that, knowing that the dive is a potential. So, again, big problem Jace, so much free experience, so many free waves, now gets to retain his teleport and force that wave in.
Looking pretty dire for Ray in that top lane, but JD forced to back away from the bottom lane. Haro and Scout going for an invade off the back of the blue. They set up some vision, deny a handful of camps, and buy enough time for iBoy to push into the turret. He's 15 CS ahead so far, but the Cull should equalize that once Loken's able to finish that off, but EDG are trying to convert an advantage now.
Yeah, as long as JD Gaming just continue to neutralize that bot lane, they're fine to sack a couple of CS because, like you're saying, the Cole will make the difference there. And again, this is a read that EDG are saying we're going to win the bottom side of the map, JD are saying we're going to win the top side of the map, but the difference is that slight itemization and those gold differences. And because it's just a Cloud Dragon, not something like an Infernal, not something like a Mountain Dragon, this is such an incredibly tense and very close game, despite the fact that it feels like we've had 5 or 6 different pressure plays that just haven't equated into anything.
And that's because these teams are playing around each other's vision and knowledge so well, because their styles are so similar and that they're able to recognize these plays well in advance. But now, Edward Gaming, wave after wave, crashing into the bottom and top turret. Zoom still keeping Ray busy up here.
Yeah, and something has to crack. I have a feeling that iBoy and Mako are going to start walking towards the top side of the map, which means that if Zoom wants to pick up first tower, he needs to do so now.
And that's exactly right. iBoy and Mako complete their recall. Stormrazor finished off for iBoy. Mako's on the way, but there's another rotation from Loken and Lumao. Cull's still on the way, so it's only BF Sword and Zerker Greaves against the finished Stormrazors.
And now we're going to see the confidence of JD Gaming. You had the 2-0 advantage. You were looking to close it out 3-0. You lost game 4. Do you ride that momentum and that high and just try to brute force a top lane play either over Rift Herald or Tower? Or do you just make the lane assignment change and continue to exploit this Gragas down bottom in the 1v1?
That's vision over the wall. Only a control ward for Mako right now. He doesn't have any others, but places it over the wall. Sees Rift Herald is being started. Mako steps up, but down to 2,000 health. Klid has got his smite. He gets it. They engage onto Klid. There are plenty of emotes from the bottom lane of JD. They're trying to bait this, but Klid steps up. Ray with a big knock-up. iBoy has found Lumao on the side, but he carries him away as JD get first blood and the kill. Loken finds the reset, but Scout has joined the fight. Loken leaps in onto Ray and chases it down. JD, they've got 3 kills. They've got 4 kills, and Scout is forced to run.
The momentum, the energy, JD Gaming, they could smell blood in the water, and it's not game 3, but it is game 4. They pick up 4 kills, they pick up the Rift Herald, and they're going to get the first tower. This is a huge swing, not just in the gold lead, but in the momentum. If Edward Gaming had any sort of confidence, it is dead now.
Yeah, top tier 1 being broken down by the ensuing charge. Rift Herald being summoned mid. Scout is trying to get there to defend in time, but it's taking so much damage. First brick certainly going as, oh, I didn't know that was an interaction. Finally, Loken will finish it off. Gets that solo gold. Mid tier 1 is defended, but EDG, have they been broken?
Where is the mental fortitude? Because you also then look at the composition. Haro is still on that Lee Sin, and he'll do a lot of damage. He could try to look for the assassination, but he's not going to be as valuable in these team fights. And this, for me, if EDG want to frame a moment that lost them this series, it's this fight. If they win here, maybe there's hope. Maybe you find the momentum and go for the game 5. But completely getting outplayed here on multiple fronts, not picking up any kills, losing 3 objectives almost simultaneously as well as 4 kills, devastating.
And as we said in the previous game, this is almost a personal matchup now between these two teams. They want to take it against each other. They need to take it against each other. It's no longer about winning the series, but it's just about defeating your opponents. And JD show that they are willing to fight back. They are ready.
Deep teleport.
That is a deep teleport right now as Zoom is trying to get in from behind. Uh-oh. He's found Scout over the wall. Shock blast. That Scout is happy to tank, but they're still looking for Zoom. He's got no flash. Will he be able to survive long enough? iBoy chases him down. Killer instinct. He gets into 3. Make that 4, but finally dies as Haro gets the kill. Yagao looking for a flank, but 4 members. He flashes back. Scout gets baited in. They get the CC denial. He's pulled out of the hero punch as Lumao gets the kill. A cast finds Yagao and knocks him back in, but Clid still looks for the fight. He carries the back, and JD Gaming are slammed dunking on EDG.
Edward Gaming just got absolutely dumpstered up into the top lane, and the wave comes crashing in. They could try to siege if they want to. I don't think it's quite as necessary, but they do have the Tristana. Take the victory. It was more than just the kills. It was a moral victory. You take that, and you're smiling at each other back in the headsets.
You can see iBoy. He survived the fight, but he did not survive the attack.
And this looks devastating for JD Gaming at first because Zoom caught way out of position. He realizes he's up shit creek without a paddle. He tries to make the best case scenario, but the outplays. Loken flashes away from Scout. They find the Devourer to deny the Galio ultimate, and then Clid with the flashy play to continue the play, find the CC, and pull multiple members back into JD Gaming. Disgusting.
Oh, man, Mako trying to battle dance out to Ray. Oh.
And here's the thing, Dom. We said that JD Gaming, they get a seat at the big kids table. They were invited to the regional qualifiers. They get their fair shot, just like the big 4, to have a ticket to Worlds. What I didn't realize is that the big kids table only has 4 seats.
EDG might be getting booted here. As you can see, the fan vote has changed. It's favoring Yagao right now. iBoy dropping down to second, though Scout making his way up after a performance in that previous game. Right now, he's 0-1-1. And as we said, this is a huge moral victory for JD Gaming. 4-0-3 on Loken. He is real big. 2-0-3 on Yagao. He's similarly huge. And that CS advantage up top is 40 now. Though it's not a lot of kills on Zoom, he's got 6 assists against Ray on Agragas. Yagao, doesn't go hunting. But right now, Edward Gaming, they may have the fan vote, but that vote almost certainly could change after this game because Edward Gaming have lost the mid-tier 1. 5,000 gold down 16 minutes, and still it continues to grow.
And they're going to lose now the bottom tower. The Mountain Dragon spawning in 7 seconds. Huge itemization purchases coming out of JD's composition right now. We talked about that big mid-game Jace. That is 1 back away from disaster from EDG. He is going to hit like a truck.
And look who's starting to channel that recall. Zoom is getting ready. Mountain Dragon being taken by JD. They've broken all of the outers. You can see EDG trying to set up a sneaky play top with Scout and Haro. Anything they can to get back into this game, but that's a LeBlanc with Distortion and Flash just about to come back up. Even that would be a pittance, though they are able to take this turret. Edward Gaming, they are swinging blind to get whatever they can.
Table scraps is really what it is, trying to trade objectives, but just constantly trading behind JD, and that has been the story of this series. We think that EDG are just the smarter playbook, set play team. JD Gaming have taken that throne from them. They are just better.
Yagao is chasing down Scout. Zoom decides not to follow, but that's the Abyssal Voyage as they found Haro in the brush. Yagao burning down, though, and they still get the kill with Zoom collapsing onto him as he's trying to recall. He should have just kept going.
The only fortunate thing that EDG have right now is that 23 seconds dead on Haro, and the Baron hasn't spawned yet in the game because it is so early with how quickly JD Gaming are running away with this.
But 8 kills to 1. JD Gaming in 2 back-to-back plays open this game up and could be on the verge of advancing to the semifinals of the LPL playoffs. EDG has the dynasty finally fallen.
It's about to, unless Edward Gaming can survive this mid game. So here's your critical mass.
Yeah.
You've got Haro on Lee Sin. He still has the possibility to steal a Baron, to find some sort of snipe, especially if they start splitting up the map. But ultimately, you're still waiting on the Kai'Sa. That has been the play every single time for them. They don't have any other damage on their team other than Dark Harvest Lee Sin and Kai'Sa. That's Galio and Gragas. So until iBoy is ready and farmed, Edward Gaming are going nowhere near any sort of big 5v5. Now, JD Gaming must recognize that. Force the Baron. You don't have to take it, just lure them to fight you.
Klid trying to force this, but look at Loken's first item. It's not the Runons, it's the rapid fire cannon, plus draw a bead on Tristana means that these turret sieges are not going to stop. As Yagao is looking for a kill onto Ray, forcing the flash.
You know what? Screw it. Don't force the Baron. Spawns in a minute. You've got you have Jace, you have Tristana, and you have LeBlanc. Just poke them. Just blow them up underneath their lanes.
Trying to break down these tier 2s. iBoy is trying to defend, but he can't even get close to these minion waves as they constantly flood in. There's a TP flank. Ray is trying to get in there. Mako walks it up. But the teleport is canceled as JD are able to just turn around and walk it off.
And the idea is that they see that Yagao is split up from the team. The LeBlanc was bottom. They thought that they could get in, have the numbers advantage before Yagao would be able to rotate. But again, it's that desperation. EDG know they are running out of time. That JD Gaming are only going to get stronger and stronger from here. They have to force a play, but they don't know how.
And that's the shock blast you were just talking about. Mako and iBoy take a hit. Explosive shot onto the turret, and in one minion wave, it's broken down. 4 turrets to 1, and Baron is spawning. Now, there are some wards around the side for EDG, but if they step forward, JD will be all too happy to collapse if they decide not to turn right onto that Baron.
Again, now JD Gaming can play the map out a couple of different ways. You can either try to force the Baron, use it as a lure, and then turn that into the big 5v5, which you know you're going to win. Or don't even go near the Baron. Have a ward on it to make sure that EDG can't use it to stall out the game. Continue to use the range advantage of Jace, LeBlanc, and Tristana to pick and pull underneath these towers as long as you ward your flanks. Because EDG's only play right now is to look for flanking plays with their Gragas, with their Lee Sin, and with their Rakan.
All of that requires vision and control so that they can find those safe flanks, so they can find those teleports and know that they are safe. But right now, JD, they are not stopping with this vision. Triple control ward on the bottom triangle of the map to allow for a split-pushing Zoom, who has now completed a Yomu's and that Maw of Malmortius. Plenty of vision is about to be moved up towards the top side. As you can see, EDG are desperately trying to step in and clear out some of these wards around this side of the map. They've got vision over the Baron pit right now, but the next wave crashes in. Lumao, Loken, and Klid are ready with 2 sweepers and a handful of wards, 6 control wards.
Now, reminder, over the course of the series, this has been where Edward Gaming were able to stave off JD, kind of get their footing back into these series, or at least try to hold them in game number 1 and game number 2. So they're at least confident and very practiced in playing defense from red side. And for me, I have to look at Mako. Time and time again, when Edward Gaming have faltered, he gets caught in these exact scenarios. He's now on a champion like Rakan, who has a lot of safety to face check, place some vision, and he needs to keep that vision line strong. The captain of Edward Gaming cannot falter here.
Trying to get this vision.
He is faltering here.
Ooh, and takes the grand entrance out. More like a grand exit at this point, because that would almost certainly be EDG's grand exit from the playoffs as Yagao split pushing top against Scout. Landing some damage, but he's able to deny it with a Shield of Durant. Klid pushing that wave in as Zoom is working on the bottom tier 2. Mako steps up again along with Haro, but look at the damage coming out of Loken. Good shield, and Mako is able to back away after an explosive blast. iBoy still sitting only at 1 item right now. Loken is happy to play around that.
So the JD Gaming logo, JingDong versus JD Gaming. JD Gaming are a devil. It's based off of the JingDong logo, which is a dog. It is Year of the Dog. Everyone assumes that that means Uzi. Are we not talking about
the conversation?
The wrong dog?
I mean, hey, what if it wasn't Harry Potter at all?
Call it the Illuminati.
What if it was Neville Longbottom?
I've got some notes for them. I've seen the script.
That's the
Here we
flash
go.
engage. They found Lumao, but they did not get Loken. He's going to flash out of the side, and it's perfectly synced. Gets a knock up onto Scout. He's still alive, and Loken finally dies as iBoy chases it down. Now Yagao looking for Ray on the side, but somehow EDG are able to find a pick, but the Ignite burning down. Shield from Haro keeps him standing.
By the skin of his teeth, he's able to walk out of that one. But the big thing is that means that it's less time that JD Gaming are setting up another objective. Be that a tower, be that a Baron, be it a Dragon, whatever it is, they're not doing anything on the map. So Edward Gaming, small victory, but it buys them time. And you can still see that they are the final boss. They are the hurdle. This has been the year about RNG, but anytime you look across from Edward Gaming, you know that there's just that special something about them in playoffs.
There's a reason we call them the winningest team in the LPL, and that's because they win in playoffs. They make it so far, and there it is. Mako, flash, engage. They invest everything.
And that's the thing. They invest everything. 2 flashes on the Rakan and the Lee Sin, your 2 primary engage tools right there to be followed up by the Galio. Huge shout out to Scout as well. Hit massive damage when Tristana walked across him. But again, if I'm JD Gaming, you need to recognize they do not have flashes. What are we going to do with this information? Is this when we finally turn towards the Baron? Have they learned from their mistakes earlier on in the split where they used to fumble? We used to call JD Gaming the Dignitas of the LPL. They couldn't Baron to save their lives. I see you, Raz. Sorry, mate. And now they need to find the confidence to do so and punish EDG when they don't have these resources.
This is the test. Can they pass it against Edward Gaming? Do they deserve to sit at the big kids table? Currently, the 2 teams are playing hot potato with that chair, and only one of them can sit down. They're trying to get some damage onto the turret. Zoom needs a cast, but here comes Haro from the side. Ray is trying to look for it, but Haro is turning and running, and Zoom still pushing against the turret. But once again, they found Loken and Lumao in mid-rotation, and they have caught them. A retreat from Loken, but there's the killer instinct. iBoy again gets the kill as the bottom lane from JD are dead.
And JD Gaming keep picking the wrong side of the map, and Edward Gaming are doing the impossible and climbing back into this game by picking up both of the bottom laners. Maybe they go towards the Baron, but knowing that Clid is still alive, it'd be incredibly risky.
Oh, and over the wall, there goes Yagao!
Yes!
He gets the jungler!
Huge play. Now there's no Baron.
Don't hide your enthusiasm, Frosk.
Mate, I am ready for the next chapter of the LPL.
For the new age, the new era, JD Gaming, 4-0-3 off of Yagao, covering for the weaknesses of his bottom lane, getting caught in rotation not once but twice on back-to-back plays. He stalls out the Baron pings. EDG, they were pinging towards it. They were hoofing across the map. Ray had teleport, but Haro gets caught.
And now JD Gaming need to learn from this mistake. They cannot keep going to these side lanes. Edward Gaming are beating them. They say, we're done playing around, force the Baron, but the Baron Gate ward is there.
Now, Clid is very far away from his team right
Doesn't
now.
have
He's
his
got his flash,
jump,
but no elastic slingshot. Scooped over by Lumao as the Baron is being burned down. Scout and Ray are there. Mako keeping iBoy busy. Remember, there's no Haro.
It's
the
a
explosive
50-50
shot
swipe.
Ray goes in, but it's Loken who gets the Baron. Clid forced to turn and run as Yagao, feigning some damage against iBoy. EDG, the flash over the wall from Scout. Loken's able to buffer out of it. They're chasing onto Lumao, but that's the support. That's a mere pittance, but they do find a kill. And JD Gaming take the Baron, but EDG, they are ready to fight.
So quick correction, need to calm down. It's the Lee Sin that's the jungler. I saw Gragas. I assumed it was 2 junglers in the pit. Haro was not there. So JD Gaming, excellent call to force that one. That said, Tristana got the Baron. So still a little bit too close for comfort with multiple people in the pit.
Yeah. 26.5 minutes in, JD Gaming finally have the buff that could close this game out. 7,000 gold advantage, items galore for JD Gaming. Yet they've been caught not once but twice around the pit, around their rotations. They need to be able to close the game, but that was the decisive call that could end the match.
Yes, but now what Edward Gaming are going to do is they're going to walk into their jungle, and you've already seen Haro start to do it, and they're going to place control wards because they know what they need to do is find these picks. They need to hit fast, hit hard, and then scurry into the dead of night. As we take another replay. This is where my heart stopped. I was like, oh no, Gragas is in the pit. Still heart stopping, Tristana gets the Baron. Security, it's fine. They only lose 1 member, and I believe that means they retain 4 of their Baron buffs.
Yes.
So, Lumao, you have been an honorable opponent.
Sacrifice, yeah. You absolutely pass that kill over in a game like this because EDG, 8,000 gold down, But there's plenty of vision on that bottom side try. It's a 1-3-1 from JD as they're looking to finish off the remaining tier 2s.
And they need to be much more careful now because their bot lane has been targeted again and again. And you can see Haro, he's looking for the flank, he's got his vision. Lumao and Loken just need to play it slow.
Now they do have their flashes back up, but Mako and Haro, the moment they step forward, they will be spotted. Yagao is now going to be the one to step in and try to clear out some of this vision from EDG. This is the last dark spot of the map for JD, and EDG are able to make it out as Scout stalls out that wave. And finally, once they have vision of Scout, once they have vision of the bottom lane for EDG, once they have vision of Haro mid, they start pushing up onto these inhibitor turrets. JD, they're playing it slow, they're playing it safe. But there are only 75 seconds left on this Baron.
And again, I have to go back to the choice to grab the Lee Sin. You saw it spectacularly fail in Klid's hands, and Haro, having a wealth of options, chooses to grab the Lee Sin again, and it has just not paid off for them this game.
It's constant rotations from the 3 members of EDG towards mid. Haro, iBoy, and Mako maneuvering back and forth, trying to defend multiple pressure valves at once, but this ship is taking on water and getting lower and lower.
And look at those 3 control wards on the top of JD Gaming. They understand exactly what Edward Gaming want to do, and they said, no, no one is getting up there. We will see everything. And like you're saying, it's controlling the 3 pressure valves, just buying their time, playing it slow.
JD looking for an opening. They're getting damage onto the inhibitor turrets, but not taking any of them down. This is going to be the last wave. Haro and Mako are on the side. That's the Sonic wave. Loken still hovering nearby Lumao just in case, but Scout eats some big damage. This could be it. The top inhibitor could be about to go down. Zoom is caught in rotation. What the heck? We've been logging him all split, but that engages the fight. They've managed to find Klid. He actually carries them back onto Loken. Klid gets popped back into Lumao. Cell division active, but here comes Yagao on the side. He's found Haro, forced to flash away. Yagao jumps out of this, but Zoom is still dead.
Oh, Zoom caught out, but they're going to get the tower. One more.
Yagao gets the auto attack, able to cover for his top laner's weakness. The top inhibitor about to go down as well. Mako forced to get out of this. iBoy getting out there as well, but there's the grand entrance as here comes Scout into the fight. Klid gets left behind amongst 5 members. JD, they've bitten off too much more. They've got to get out of this. They were trying to end the game. They saw the victory in their sights, but it was too much, too big for their britches as they end up losing another fight to EDG, and Yagao is still hunting. Calm yourselves, children.
These are the Spartans right now. They have drawn the line in the sand. They said, no, you will not cross the final hurdle. Edward Gaming still a massive giant in their own right. The fact that they keep digging deep and finding these miracle moments. I don't know if it's JD Gaming again. Nerves, energy, maybe they're just too amped up, but they just calm down. You have 100 meters left to go.
My heart is in my throat right now. Gotta take some deep breaths. 30 minutes into the game, it's match point for JD Gaming. They're up by 9,000 gold, but they cannot close it out against Edward Gaming as it's 2 monumental defenses back-to-back off of 2 miracle picks in the mid-game. Edward Gaming, I mean, we say playoff buffs, we say Edward Gaming, but this is something else.
And what's crazy is it's with a different roster. So, as you were saying, Zoom was just caught out on the rotation. But this is not Clearlove and Mako's Edward Gaming. Yeah, Mako's still there, but otherwise, it's a very young team. We talk about the future of the LPL, the next wave of talent. This is a dynasty versus the revolution in a sense. But Haro, Ray, iBoy, these are all very young players. This is Edward Gaming trust falling into their own future.
And by embracing the future, they are actually able to compete against JD. It's only by shedding the old that they are able to move into the future and embrace the new. But Ray steps up, looks for Loken, catches him. But he's out to the side. Yagao on the side as now this is JD without the Baron buff sieging, but they found Yagao. He was hunting for assassination, leaps over the wall and flashes to safety. iBoy chases him down though. The flash and the killer instinct, and Yagao is dead. 5 kills to 4. JD Gaming, they are so close, but they're still not able to close it.
But still the line holds. This is Hodor. It is not cracking.
Oh my God, Zoom trying to steal away the blue buff right now as he splits away the mid-tier 1 as the rest of JD are falling back. And iBoy is all business right now.
He's also a lot of his key itemization. This Kaisa hits like a truck.
That's 3 items. The Banshees looking towards that Nashor's Tooth. But finally, it gets broken down, and despite that ridiculous landing phase, iBoy 6-1-4 has now been able to catch up to Loken.
And the mid-game window, and when Jace was just absolutely dominating Edward Gaming, has really closed on itself. Now Scout is doing massive amounts of damage, has a lot of AP to his name. Now Kai'Sa has her full itemization really set up for herself. She's going to have the Nashor's Tooth on this next pack. And so EDG, in a game where they were behind for about 80% of it, are suddenly completely fine. If this goes to the 5v5 and it's just about out execution, EDG now have the tools to do that, regardless of if it's a Lee Sin or not.
Hard to believe that we're coming down to execution in a game like this. 33 minutes in. It's still 8,000 gold, 7.5 now in favor of JD Gaming, but they cannot close it out. Baron has respawned, and suddenly, despite all of the turrets being down except for the inhibitor line, EDG are able to get back onto the map. They're able to set up vision, showing that they can fight back with iBoy, who's absolutely huge, with Scout, who's at 3 items.
And that's the name for me. Naturally, iBoy is going to be the cannon, or the bullet, if you will, but Scout is the gun. Scout, his zone control, the hero's entrance, everything that he is doing on this Galio, he has been doing overtime to make up for EDG's composition to have them win a lot of these fights. So all eyes on how Scout, where he's putting his cooldowns, who he's catching out, and what type of space he's controlling these team fights to allow iBoy to shine.
With iBoy trying to push this momentum, it's all about him right now. Yagao keeps on moving around. Currently, he thinks that the game is around him, but Zoom is able to split push and take down a bottom inhibitor turret. EDG in rotation, spotted out by JD, who played just underneath them to keep them unsafe. That inhibitor turret goes down as Glid is forced to take the elastic slingshot away. Zoom finishes off the inhibitor. It was EDG just looking for vision around the Baron, but they end up paying a price.
And it felt like what Edward Gaming actually wanted is they wanted the fight. They were trying to see if the 4-member of JD Gaming would step out of bounds, because trading your Gragas for your Jace, you would much rather them lose the Jace than you not have your Gragas.
Constant shots being fired from that AP Kai'Sa at 4 full items. But the inhibitor is down. Super Minions have finally unlocked Zoom to put pressure in multiple lanes. As he's grouped up with his team, Ray will have to teleport if he wants to catch up. As the first Super Minion wave makes its way back out, Lumao completes his recall. Freshly stocked with wards and double QSS from Loken and Lumao. They know how important it is not to get caught, because the Baron is up. The Baron is the name of the game. If EDG win it now, 35 minutes in, they could easily bring us to a Game 5.
And the thing is we were just joking, talking to Pulse and Raz in between the games. I looked at Raz and I said, if this goes to Game 5, Edward Gaming win. And now, maybe that inexperience, maybe that high-pressure moment. JD Gaming, again, they don't have experience in best-of-5s. They've played, I think, 4 total in their LPL career.
We've got to start wondering, as Loken, standing just behind Klid, Yagao leaping forward through the vision as he keeps on trying to hunt for iBoy. But his positioning has been immaculate in this Game 4, this match point. And still EDG constantly playing around this vision, but Super Minions have stacked up bottom. Ray is forced to answer. He's still got that teleport, but JD, now is the time.
Zoom needs to be top lane.
Currently, he's grouped with his team, looking for Harass. Guardian Angel for some damage as Haro gets slowed. Loken thinking about following up with Mako. Yeah, getting a huge hit. I believe Yagao actually used his Ignite as well. So that must have been Yagao finding Mako.
That means primary engage from EDG is missing, but Haro's still alive. I believe it's a 2-man on the Baron.
It is. Currently, it's being attacked down to half health. Zoom and Loken able to shred through. Haro going into the pit, but it's already been taken by an early smite from Glid. JD follow up off of Mako, getting caught out of position. Super Minion still flooding in bottom. Teleport available for Zoom. Could this be the death knell of Edward Gaming?
It's at least another opportunity to try to force Edward Gaming out of it. That said, Elder Dragon going to be spawning in 20 seconds. Do JD Gaming want to play this clinical? Do they use the Baron to control the waves, take the Elder? Or do they say, screw the Elder, force all of the waves in, take another inhib, try to get the fight, and try to end the game? It's trying to weigh high risk, low reward. Or
low risk, high reward.
Switch it around.
I'm
a little bit amped.
Yeah.
Like you said, history could be made. And Dom, why do you keep casting the EDG upsets?
I don't know, man. It just happens sometimes. My heart is in my throat right now. as Clid trying to get out of this and manages to pull Scout in as they're actually chasing him down. EDG moving as 4. Yagao on the side, but Lumao looks for the save. Yagao on this LeBlanc, very mobile, uses the Mimic Distortion to pop out of this.
Look
Clid
at
trying
Zoom.
to collapse. Zoom is keeping Ray busy. Remember, he's still got the Baron buff, and EDG, they are running out of time as Super Minions are flooding in bottom. Top inhibitor turret goes down. EDG turn onto the Elder. Clid's got a ward in the pit, but it's EDG baiting this.
Let them have it. Go for the end.
It's not about the Elder Dragon, it's about the Nexus, and JD have got their eyes on the prize. Recall started from Mako, but the inhibitor has gone down. Yagao goes over the wall, he goes low, and is able to survive. No, followed up by
Look at JD, look at JD!
It's Zoom trying to finish things off. The Abyssal Flag, Heroes entrance, they're turning onto the Nexus. JD Gaming, all they need to do is close it, and they do! The dynasty has fallen. Edward Gaming eliminated from playoffs as JD advanced to the semis.
It is no longer someday, it is all about today. The future is now, and JD Gaming have done it. They said they wanted to go to semifinals. You've got your ticket, your date with Invictus Gaming, but do you want more? Win or lose, Edward Gaming and JD Gaming will both appear in the regional qualifiers. They both still have a shot at Worlds. That said, the miracle could happen. We see it happen in the LCK with Griffin, and it could happen with JD. If they take first, they would auto-qualify, but that's the only route without the regional qualifier gauntlet, and they're sure to meet this team again.
And JD Gaming, the young blood, the new team to the LPL. They lost their superstar carry in Doinby at the end of 2017, but they found something else. They found something new in Yagao and Zoom. And time has been very kind to this team in Summer Split. Whereas Edward Gaming, as some teams rise, that means others must fall. The winningest team in LPL history has been eliminated from playoffs, and this is their 3rd time in history since they've joined the LPL that they have not made finals in 4.5 years, in 9 total playoffs.
It's a dark day for Edward Gaming fans, but it's a great day if you're an Invictus Gaming fan. If IG can crawl over and finally make their berth into an LPL finals again, and Rogue Warriors do not take 3rd, IG will auto-qualify for Worlds, even just taking 2nd. They are that much closer to seeing Rookie and the Shy on an international stage.
A huge day for many teams in the LPL. As we keep saying, 2018 is a new year as the old guard is changed out. Even seeing that in Haro coming in for EDG and resetting Game 3 to try and bring some momentum back. But it was Yagao, it was Loken, it was Zoom, Clid, and Lumao who show that they are the young blood that the LPL need.
It was the sum of their parts. And behind Coach Ohm, former coach of Team WE, who went to his semifinals berth at Worlds, he now has taken JD Gaming into the semifinals of the LPL.
Hard to believe, but now it's time for our analysts to break down that JD Gaming series.
Now, great cast, Dom. But you should not be allowed to cast any important matches for EDG because you are the curse of this team. Cut him off, get him out, replace him. If it has to be a solo cast, so be it. Another upset comes in. JD 3-1 in this series, Raz.
And that is the first time EDG has been taken out of playoffs before semifinals. They have simply just been falling and falling, and that's a congratulations to JDG, by the way. We said that this would be the run for their lives to make history happen, and they've done it here today.
Yes, they did, and I'm so glad. We looked at their run, and everyone was like, you're crazy. There's no way they can make this run. There's no way they can go all the way through EDG. It's not going to happen. Quarterfinals, that's the end of the line. And here we are. They advanced to semifinals, and they'll be taking on Invictus Gaming, and people will be like, it's not possible. Not going to happen. JD, you can't do it. I think maybe they can.
They're getting into overtime right now. Because remember, they started this run September 6th. They started it not too long ago, 2 days ago. And they're still running. This is going to be a long one for them. They don't have much time to prepare. And in fact, IG has 2 series to work on, both of them going the distance. And so if you're JDG, you're just running on individual skill, running on the strength that you have in team fighting to challenge Invictus Gaming on that front.
They are accelerating hard right now. They are not slowing down. I mean, we saw in that final game, it was the Spartan defense coming in from EDG, but even that could not hold JingDong. straight up, they just look good across the board. I don't know, like, if they have any weaknesses anymore, because you look towards Baron, you look towards the bot lane. Both of those things have been shored up, and not just shored up, but actually look on the other end of the spectrum now. They look straight up good.
Let's talk about it, because for specifically the bottom lane, the only weakness we really honed in on was in the early laning phase for Loken, because so often do they look into the distance in the game. They look towards the 20-minute mark where they want to actually fight, that they end up losing quite a bit to the teams that are known for their AD carries, like Uzi and RNG that we saw recently. And so for them to challenge iBoy in this case, in fact, to still have the same level of confidence in team fights as they did in the regular season, speaks to what is the confidence of the team, the comfort, I would say.
Sure.
So here we go. I mean, looking at this one, this is the first team fight that started it off. This was EDG coming in to challenge a Rift Herald take, but they came in challenging with 2 members. That's the problem. The setup that we knew from EDG simply wasn't there, and they started it just because, and that's why JDG challenged them in the fight.
And in the micro instances, look towards Zoom, look towards Yagal right here, all playing this perfect. Loken on the backside, he's the carry that you need. Usually you look towards team fights, you look to later on to the game once Loken's farmed up. That's Rift Herald at what, like 16, 17 minutes, and he's still just performing perfectly. And it's like they just flip a switch, you know, and it turns on for the team. That sets them up for the game. That's 4-0 in kills, and they only proceed to get more and more kills as the game goes on, and they retain it versus EDG as well. They get a chance to come back into that game.
And in this game, what we saw from JDG was the classic of everyone being in tune with the play. So for JDG, if they're starting up the Rift Herald, mid lane's hovering over it. The top laner is aware that that's the case. Even when he's playing Jace, he's still always understanding that if he's needed, he'll be there. And so for EDG, the problem with that one, sure, fine, you can actually contest for that, but having the support Mako jump in there on the Rakan, which is great for engage, you're still squishy. So if you're isolated with just your AD carry by your side, that's very easy for the enemy team to say, well, we're taking Rift Herald, and we're also looking for the pick. So that's the problem that happened here. Speaking of problems, JDG had a few of their own in trying to end the damn game.
Yeah, they had a couple, but EDG, I think this more speaks towards them and their defense right here. I think Scout in particular was huge for the team. The amount of picks he got on this Galio with the taunts onto mid lane, jungle, anyone who was trying to engage, kept them alive for another 10 minutes.
He had a nice 3-man taunt, too, when they were actually chasing up the top side of the map. So you're right about that. There was 2 to 3 times in which it was happening. But thankfully, for JD, that while they were still pushing in and losing a lot of these kills, they were still taking 1 objective, 2 objectives. They were making it easier for what was the eventual end game. So I thought that JD, that was still a lot of Monka S happening.
Yes, there was.
That
on
was
the,
still,
the push up to the base.
Because just one more mistake meant they go into game 5, and that's what you don't want to be in a game 5 situation versus EDG. But just based off the understanding of the map, they decided to play away from that, not take any more risks, and that's what I like.
Yeah, it was hero plays coming out from both mid laners. You look towards Scout there, you just saw it in that replay, but you also see Yagao. It's like, okay, we lose 2 people with Dragon. He instantly gets a snipe down. It's like, well, no, now there's no Baron for you, is there? So at every point in time, there's always a safety net because it felt like individual players were able to perform up to the occasion. And EDG never really got towards the Baron from that point. You know, they had one good fight, and then the vision was just pushed up to their base,
100%.
and it was never allowed to actually come back into the game.
So it felt like every team fight win that would come out that point, they would have to commit to another one. And I think that's where JDG was very understanding of the situation, because they made another mistake immediately afterwards, then actually the vision gets completely replaced. You can actually push waves if you're EDG. So some of these mistakes were actually timed out well enough, and at the same time, they just didn't happen again. So that's something you have to pay attention to, especially going into the next series if you're looking towards the IG versus JDG matchup, because IG got better in team fighting, but now we have to see if they are focused on team fighting. Because Invictus Gaming are great within the laning phase. EDG tried to challenge them in laning phase. And if we look towards team fighting, IG got better, but JDG is seeming like one of the best teams in terms of team fighting. So I wonder where they're going to meet them at, because EDG tried to meet them in the team fights and just outright lost.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. I think that Invictus Gaming definitely going to be a different beast here for JD. And it's like, yes, EDG trying to meet them in the lanes, but we went over this conversation.
Oh, this is good.
Pound for pound, it's different. This final fight right here, scattered, holding them. It looked like EDG getting these multiple kills, but there weren't enough people with their eyes on the Nexus, and it was the Nexus defenders actually getting pushed back.
Yep, hold the fort is what you're calling. Stop the bases was the call from JDG, and they exactly did that.
Yep, they were martyrs for the cause.
iBoy had a great later portions of the game with his Kaisa, but it doesn't matter how well you play that late if your base is gone. There's only one objective left, and they were able to hit it, so congratulations to JDG for the series.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, JD, we looked at this. I know specifically, I was saying this is going to be a JD win. That's what my heart said, but just that little thing in the back of my mind was just like EDG, playoff buff, it's coming. Clearlove on the starting roster. It's going to be a tough match. It's going to be at least 5 games if JD take it 3-1. You know, and individual performances, you look towards top lane, then Clid popped off, Loken as well, a stand-up performance from him, but Yagao in the mid lane, he'll take our MVP. And Yagao, I think, overall, just in this series, in the playoffs, to be honest, has really been a shining star for JD.
Hey, and you know that new Spider-Man came out, finger guns coming through from Yagao. So this was our highlight matchup between Yagao and Scout. And Scout, they had a good game. He had a great series.
He did.
But Yagao
had
a better series. And that's what counts on the day. So congratulations picking up the LeBlanc. And as you saw in the last replay, stopping the ports, recognizing there was some great assassinations. You called it out when EDG were able to pick a fight towards the bottom lane, and then they were heading towards the Baron buff. Then was your Lee Sin. Great series from Yagao, and hopefully we get more, as he will now have another matchup.
He will.
A better matchup versus Rookie.
Yeah, that's gonna be a matchup.
Our all LPL mid laner.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, Rookie, I think for the longest time, unanimously look at the LPL and it's like, who is the best mid laner in the LPL? And you're like, no, it's not any of the teams we're sending to internationals. None of the teams we're sending to World. It's Rookie. Rookie on Invictus Gaming. He's the guy to beat. He is. You ask any mid laner in the LPL and they say, who do you want to be the benchmark? It's Rookie.
Yep, he was on a lot of people's list. Icon still has him there, trying to cross him out at some point. 2 days until he can go for it. So I know Yagao must have seen the lists. He must have saw the all LPL graphics come through.
Of course.
Like, I took number 2 out, and now he's aiming for number 1. And I want to see if that's the case, because remember, laning phase is there for Invictus Gaming. Best in the LPL. Best in the world in laning phase.
Yep.
And I want to see if they can actually challenge that, or at least just say, hold the fort, so we can team fight them, because we know that that was a weakness of Invictus Gaming last split.
Yeah, it's that first hurdle that JD needs to get over. I think in this matchup, they have a good stretch up until mid-game, and it's like, all right, where's EDG's strength in the macro game going to come through? They beat them there, fantastic. You get over this hurdle. Next time, it's going to be harder. Let's take a look at tomorrow's match. It's going to be Rogue Warriors taking on RNG. Now, this is just going to be a bloodbath from start to finish. There's no way you go into this and it's just like serial kills at 20 minutes. No, this is going to be kills constantly.
Yep, it's our first semifinals matchup. So this is where it starts getting real. Loser still goes to Nanjing, but it will be in a 3rd to 4th place matchup. So stay tuned for this one. This one is going to matter a lot. That actually could just mean the difference between who goes to Worlds based off points in that series and who ends up going to the final. So I want to see what ends up happening between this one. Mid lane matchup, Xiaohu versus Duanbi. I mean, this one goes way, way back to Rift Rivals between both of them. So I think that's going to be a great match to see start us off in the semifinals.
All right, Rice. You know me, and you know me and getting his early predictions in. Do you think it's going to be RNG taking this set? Because keep in mind, the pillars of the Alpha right now are crumbling down.
Yes.
We just had EDG, the Dynasty, full on its ass. And then we look at RNG. Yeah, they're looking pretty good right now. That was a complete stomp of the final 2 games when Uzi came off the bench right there. They look great. But going into Rogue Warriors, they are real hungry, and they've been hungry for the last year since this team came together. Is it going to be an RNG win?
Yep. Remember, there are MS. Look, so we've gone through a lot of gold for RNG. I know the logo's gold. It started gold before they ended up getting the Asian Game Gold medal. So a lot of members that are coming in from RNG from that one. Rift Rivals, MSI champions. They've shored it up now, and I feel like going up against Rogue Warriors, they've been having a good time. My major question is who Rogue Warriors start out with, because it could be Holder and Kiwi.
That's true.
Holder has been an incredible carry top laner, or they can put in Flawless, who has been the better jungler. It's one or the other, and I feel like if you want to go through what they played throughout the entire split/season, you would expect Mouse to start.
Yeah, it's definitely a difference of styles there as well, because you're looking at the top lane, it's like, well, do you want carries or do you want Mundo, right? Like, what is it, like 17 games to 3 on a second most played in the top lane for Mouse? Like, it's one or the other. I agree with you. I think if they could run Holder without having to give up Flawless or giving up another impulse slot, they absolutely would, but that's a big question for tomorrow. Do you think they're going to start RNG with Uzi in the bottom lane? Do you think they're going to give Abel more time? Because that's what they did in their last set.
They should start with Uzi. I said that with the last one too. I'm just surprised. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not going to listen to a big old Res. They're going to just try and throw in a few more members there.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun matchup tomorrow. We are going to sign off though, and I know for myself, I'm going to be switching over to the LCK right now. I want to see what's happening on that stream. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, folks. It's going to be the start of our semifinals.